Hi everyone, I'm here with another deck check. This time it's for Revengers, so let's get started. Starting Vanguard is Dorint. This is going to be, okay, so first I'm going to show you the original version of it, and then I'm going to show you what I did to update it, because this is relatively new with set 15 coming out, the way that you update it. So you start with Claudas as you're starting Vanguard. That's going to change. As for the trigger lineup, it is the typical 12 grit and 4 heal, because it's just so good and you shouldn't expect anything differently from me at this point. As for your grade 3s, 4 Revenger, Mordred Phantom, 4 Revenger, Raging Form Dragon, and as for grade 2s, Blaster Dark Revenger. The card is way too good. And for Tartus, 3 Nullity Masquerade grade 2s. For your grade 1s, 4 Staple Perfect Cards. You can actually use non-Revenger ones. You can use the original Maclear, but I used these Maclear because I had them and they, like, I pulled all of these. I have no idea. I have insane chance with pulls. It's weird. So I use the Revenger ones. But I guess in a pinch you can call them down for Raging Form Dragon. So it's good to have them if you can. And for Dorint, that is completely staple and necessary in this deck. 3 Masquerade. You can run 4 of this, but 3, and I'll show you what's up. The original version of the deck runs 3 Dark Bond Trumpeter. So some of these things actually change, but I'm going to go over how this deck would work. As is. So first off, one little disclaimer. I do run the Mordred Phantom and the Raging Form, but you can totally run Drag Ruler in Raging Form. I've noticed that Drag Ruler and Mordred Phantom aren't that great together, but it really doesn't make a difference if you run Mordred Phantom or if you run Drag Ruler. It doesn't make any difference at all. And Mordred Phantom is cheaper, so I run that. He's harder to get, though. Like, it took me forever to just finally get the other 2 of these. So first, obviously, people who actually don't know, this is the thing you do. You have Dorint in the back row. You call Blaster Dark in front of it. I don't know, let's have some damage over here. Suspicious damage. You can pay your costs with Blaster Dark, Revenger, retire a thing, and then you unflip with Dorint. Only if he's called directly in front of him. Obviously, you can do this in the reverse order, so if you have, like, an already flipped card, you can just go, I'm going to unflip first, and then I'm going to play Blaster Dark, because Vanguard's awesome like that. So you're always going to be able to do that pretty much. So this essentially reads like if Dorint is directly behind him when he's called, you know, you can kind of blast 1 instead. Essentially reads the same way. You still have to have the 2 counterblasts, so that's why it's not exactly the same. So these are kind of precious, and these are even more precious. I've gone games where I didn't actually run someone down by just calling all my Dorints and spamming their face. Like, I might do it like once, but like, people will target this. People will try to kill this as quickly as possible if they can. If all they have is their Vanguard attack, unless the player is bad, then they won't. But if they're bad, they might actually attack your Dorint with their Vanguard. So, whatever. The way the deck works is that your normal condition is that you ride Mordred Phantom, and you have any kind of field, pretty much whatever. You try to set up Dorint on each side. This is ideal. Probably gonna have that. I don't know, whatever. Have a thing. Actually, you don't really need that out there. And say another Dorint, because this deck can actually search this crap, so it's whatever. So you end up going into your break right turn. Let's pretend we actually have 4 damage here. the most suspicious damage down. Okay. So you go into your break ride. Here you break ride. Whatever you break ride, it doesn't really matter. Counterblast 1. And usually you're going to get Blaster Dark Revenger. You do this, and he gets 5k power. And of course, you put that in front of a door, and he gets to unflip. And he gets to Counterblast 2 and kill a thing. So it's pretty cool because you end up with... it's not a +1. You actually have to minus a card from your hand. Like, I have to get rid of that Raging Form Dragon over here to do that. So that's a -1, and then that's a +1. So it's a wash. But you get the 5k power, so you go swing for 3 stages. They have to guard with an additional card or take it. So you kind of get a +1, but like no more so than anything else that just gives power in the game. What it's used for actually is the toolboxing aspect. So let's say I don't have that Dorint, that Blaster Dark in hand or whatever, and I go Mordred Phantom into Dorint. Okay. Then I go Blaster Dark, and I guess I've already paid his cost, but yeah, then I can do that. So you don't actually have to you don't have to like do this crap constantly. Like the deck will be fine, but it does get a lot of front row retires. So your opponent is going to have a really hard time. If they're playing things like Zawardo, they have the samurais, you're killing those front row samurais easily with this. You don't even have to attack into them because like it's pretty much a bad move to just attack into them. You want to like kill them. You have that ability in here. Just you get rid of it. If somebody's playing like Aqua Forest, they cry. If somebody's playing like anything where they require to have their attackers at all, they cry. So Blaster Dark Revenger is mean because it usually means that in Revengers, and I'll show you how this happens, you get a full field really fast and you kill your opponent's field really fast. So it has this huge gap in the amount of pressure you can give versus the amount of pressure your opponent can give. So it tends to win very quickly. And I'm just going to say this right now. I've done so many tests. Back a long time ago when Dragonic Overlord, the end, plus just regular Dragonic Overlord, the whole cross-ride deck or whatever, was a huge thing. And then I decided to I kind of decided like when these came out to test it in Japanese, I decided to test it. And I would, Dragonic Overlord, the end needed 12 damage and it would still die. It needed a 12 damage zone, and it would still die. So I would just like, I was so frustrated. I wouldn't even get to use Raging Form's effect every game because I would kill it so fast and it couldn't do anything to me. So I went until I got to use Raging Form, and I was like game after game after game, it was 12 damage. So this is an example of how much power creep is in Vanguard. But yeah, this deck is ridiculous. So the way you do this deck is the following. This skill, by the way, I meant to mention is Counterblast 1, put it in the soul. If you've got a grade 3 or greater, Shadow Paladin, like fucking grade 4s. If you have a grade 3 or greater Shadow Paladin Vanguard, you search your deck for a Blaster Dark Revenger, call it out. Any R, you can like replace something if you need to. I don't like it. It basically means you get a normal costed Blaster Dark Revenger, which I guess it's good in like pinches. Like I've had a trigger in hand that I've had to call for like final turn and be like, well, okay, I put this back in, get an attacker, pull out a trigger. You can do stuff like that. That's useful. That's pretty cool. There's something better. I'll show you later. In this deck, you have an MVP card. So this, by the way, is a ideal condition. Just a little aside note. Your fail condition is riding Raging Form Dragon. So that's terrifying. Your fail condition. Tartu. I don't care what's out here. Anyway, Tartu. Let's get the most suspicious damage zone again. When she comes out, you can Counterblast 2. Search deck for a grade 1. Put it out here. And it's got to be a Revenger, so you can only search for awesome stuff like Dorint. But Dorint is friggin' awesome, so you search for Dorint. Because then, you know, you intercept away your Tartu. Because people are sometimes bad, and they'll scale, like, 1-stage columns early. And so you'll go, oop, Tartu. And then you call out that Blaster Dark Revenger. And I don't know, let's say that was like that. You go unflip, then flip 2. And things die. So it's terrifying. That's really terrifying. Tartu is really ridiculous. So you only actually, yeah, you just take the 3rd damage, sorry. With the damage on there, that was Tartu. There's Blaster Dark Revenger, unflip the 1. flip the 2. There you go. You just have to have 3 damage to do all that crap. So you end up plussing 1 from that. Guard like normal. That's not, I mean, it's technically a minus, but it's factored in every turn. So, and then you get this as another plus. That's +2 right there. And then every single time your Blaster Truck does that shit and gets plus for that. If you get Mordred Phantom, you can counterblast 1, stick another Dorint over here, dark, unflip that damage. It's pretty nice. Other things that you can do, and I've had to do this before, and it's kind of sad, but I've had to do this before. Dark Bond Trumpeter is not a pushover. Let's put that in here. Less suspicious damage zone, slightly. Call your Tartu. This is not optimal, but I've had to do this before, just to fill the field. Pull out the Dark Bond Trumpeter, so you counterblast your 1, and then, I don't know, wherever the hell that is, you grab this. Now, you do this specifically on the turn that you break ride. The reason why? You don't need a booster on that turn. So this calls a trigger at rest. Oh, you don't grab a heal. You grab a crit. Everything is stacked. Okay. Grab a crit. Whatever. This is actually not bad. This doesn't do crap to your ratio. I mean, like, you're not gonna, there's no way you're gonna check exactly that trigger on your very next drive check. So who gives a crap? It's a free card for Counterblast 1. That's pretty cool. And it scales with all your vanguards, so whatever. So that's your break ride turn. And you've got the ability to play with this other column over here. Only reason this isn't optimal, that's 1 stage. So you've got to intercept that away and put a grade 3 here or another nullity here, whatever you need to do. Also, you have to either have used Dorint's skill, or sorry, Claudas's skill, or to put him in the soul, or he has to have been put over here somewhere early on, and that meant you probably didn't have a proper Vanguard booster. So this is actually really awesome, believe it or not, and I've done it more often on the rear guard than anything. So the rear guard just gets weak for 1 turn. I noticed it happens on turns where, like, I have nothing. Basically, consider this my field, right? And then if I have 4 damage, like, I can do the following. Say I have 4 damage. I can actually do the following. I can go break ride and counterblast 1. And I can search my deck for, I really don't care, Mordred Phantom. Let's get something with shielding, actually. Nullity Masquerade. Okay. So you search for that, and it gets 5k power, so that's cool. So it's going to hit for 2 stages by itself. So now you don't even care. You're like, Tartu, Counterblast 2, get, and then you get a trigger, right? So full field from absolutely nowhere. From nowhere. You had nothing. You had, like, your starting Mega Booster. You played 1 card, right? You got that card. And then you could just play 1 from hand. 1 Tartu from hand. There's 4 of those in your freaking deck. You're going to have them. And your field is full. You're done. It cost you 4 Counterblast. You have a full field. Now that's insane because Raging Form Dragon exists, right? And you can just eat whatever is terrible. Eat that terrible thing you're probably not going to use next turn. Eat that. Because you can put any booster in there. Eat that or whatever. It doesn't matter. So, with your Raging Form Dragon, it's kind of funny because if you drive check into its Persona Blast, you still get it. So, okay, now that's kind of the deck, and that's a really short rundown, but it's really straightforward. You play it, and you win. Like, it's so consistent, you win, like, every game. It's ridiculous. So the changes are, and I'm never going to be able to find cards. So you change out your starting Vanguard. Dorint for Judgebau. When he boosts and hits with, you know, a Mordred, or sorry, a Phantom, any Phantom, period, in front of him, you counterblast 1, put him in your soul. Search for any 2 Shadow Paladins in your deck, call them as rest. This is horribly broken. This is a horribly broken card. First of all, you can run this with Phantom Black, the 8k Mega Colony card, because it just says Phantom. It doesn't even say a Shadow Paladin, so okay, whatever. So that comes out. This guy is often almost never used. Claudas is almost never used. It's occasionally toolbox, but whatever. Judgebau is used. If you get Mordred Phantom as your ride, you can finally do things in mid-game when otherwise you'd just be sitting on him and waiting for late game. Of course, this whole deck is actually mid-game because it really uses Tar-2 and Blasterdark Revenger to do stuff. It doesn't rely on its grade 3 at all. I've run this with Cursed Lancer Diarmid, I think is his name. 4 copies of that for a long time because I didn't even have the proper grade 3 ratio because they're freaking expensive, but it ran fine. It didn't rely on its grade 3 whatsoever. So the other thing you do is this. Now, I chose, you take away 2 Darkbond Trumpeters for 2 Swordbreakers, Black-Winged Swordbreaker. I actually had to until I went to locals today. I'm sorry. I would put 2 in here, but I had to until I went to locals today, and I traded it because I wanted more Minerva deck, but okay. It's when it's called directly from your deck, Soul Blast 1, draw a card. It's just Den Drain for Shadow Paladin. That's all it is. It's amazing because, yeah, that's searchable. So if you have 2 of these in your deck, you call both. Soul Blast 2, draw 2. That's +3. You go -1 with this, +2 here, and then +2 to your hand. So -1 +4 is +3 total. And then I don't know why there's 2 of these here. You already have 1 in your deck. So you go 1 of these added to your deck. More rushdown potential, I guess. And this obviously is another Swordbreaker, but mine is still currently this. Now you can actually keep these in. Just, you can move that in there or whatever. You can keep these in because they're Revengers. But running the 1 Swordbreaker actually doesn't hurt you at all. You draw it, oh well, you know, if you... I kind of like having the 2 because if you draw 1, you can't search it. But, like, if you draw it, oh well, and if you don't, great. Friggin' bonus from Judgebau. Your other starter wouldn't have done anything anyway. Might as well. You cannot eat this with Raging Form Dragon. So if you run this, like, I don't know, I would say the trade-off is run the Revenger Perfect Arts if you get this. So that card's really ridiculous. But that's not the only thing you call with Judgebau. Because I've noted a lot of people just go straight for that combo, which is a really good combo. But it's not the only thing in the deck. This is a huge toolbox because now you can call any combination of things. Like you can call these 2 out, or like this out. This can go here, that's fine. Soul Blast the 1, draw your card, and look, now you have an attacker or you have a booster. That's great. You can also call 2 of these. Like, you need 2 attackers. Bam, there they are. So remember, this guy used to get you an attacker. Well, Judgebau can get you 2 attackers, or an attacker and a booster, or draw cards, or whatever. Can also get you the lovely and amazing Dorint. Haven't you ever wanted to just search your deck for 2 Dorints and put them out and be like, well, I don't need Tar-2 anymore. So if you've used a Tar-2, obviously you grab a Swordbreaker and a Dorint. That's really your best play. The other thing you can do is if you've got your Dorint set up already, you Nullity Masquerade up in the front. There's no reason not to do that because it becomes an attacker and you lose nothing. You only plus from Judgebau because he has a plus built straight into his effect. You counter +1. Oh man. So that's the deck of Revengers. This deck is insanely ridiculous. And I hope you build this deck, and I hope you have a lot of fun with this deck. It's kind of expensive, but yes, build this deck. Have fun with this deck. Good luck.